Hello and Assalamualaikum to Prof and all of my friends. Today we are from Group 3. They're going to present about the group project in this assignment. So this is our group member, which is Muhammad Fakri bin Rosali, Muhammad Afiq Najmi bin Khairul Anwar, Sugati Gunasekaran, Muhammad Iqmal bin Mohsin, and Tan Wan Ki. Hello, I am Muhammad Iqmal bin Mohsin and my number matrix which is 280131. So for the introduction, we know that the accounting standard in the worldwide were applied, which is International Financial Reporting System, which is were designed to make our accounting standard system more consistent, more transparent, and easily to comparable across the world. Meanwhile, in the Malaysia also, which is have the accounting standard, also known as the Malaysian Financial Reporting System, which is a regulatory framework that improve the quality, credibility, and the transparency of the financial information. So we put for the three objectives, which is to gain understanding and the application and disclosure of the variety of the MFRS. Second, to inspect the disclosure of the key audit methods. And the third, which is to identify the changes in MFRS and key audit method on before and during COVID-19. So in our group project also, we put the financial statement analysis and the regression analysis to assist of the providing the justification of the impact variance on the MFRS in the financial performance in the Malaysian company which is already well listed.
Greetings, Doctor. My name is Suganti Gunasegaran and my matric number is 281888. This is about the background of the company. Pine Hill Pacific Berhad is an investment holding company based in Malaysia. This company producing oil palm plantation and processing and also harvesting other natural resources too. The second company is about KPS Consortium Berhad. This company producing paper mailing, paper converting, building, trading, investment and management contract. For example, the paper milling are producing the tissue and the building material trading is producing wooden doors and plywood. The next company is Gabungan AQRS Berhad. This is a contractor for civil and building and also engaged in property development too. The contractor is under the serving and carrying out the construction contract too. The next is about the FGV Holdings Berhad. This company formerly known as Felda Global Venture Holding Berhad. This company is for food and global agribusiness. So this company producing oil palm and rubber products and also the sugar products. The fifth company is IJM Corporation Berhad. This company founded on 1983. This company core business activity is encompass construction, property development, manufacturing and quarrying. This company established in neighboring development market with operations spanning for 10 countries.
Hi, my name is Muhammad Afiq Najmi bin Khairul Anwar. My matric number is 280196. I would like to present about literature review. The global effects of the COVID-19 pandemic are so severe, both in terms of human lives and financial impact, that many well-known brands may go bankrupt entirely as people all over the world, particularly in developed countries, succumb to the virus, are confined to their homes, resulting in a halt in economic activities. Next, accounting policies are defined in MFRS 108 as specific principles, bases, conventions, rules, and practices applied by an entity in preparing and presenting financial statements. According to MFRS 108, retrospective application is defined as applying a new policy to transactions, other events, and conditions as if the policy had always been applied. From all the company, only Gabungan AQRS and Pine Hill Pacific Berhad that had COVID-19 outbreak in 2019 and 2020 respectively. As for MFRS 108 policy change, FGV Holdings Berhad is the only company that does not have any policy change. And finally, for financial implication of policy change, from overall, all company does not have any adjusted events.
For Pine Hill Pacific Berhad, under 2018, all the collective that shown in report refer as proposed disposal. This proposed disposal is yet to be completed pending fulfillment of the condition of the SPAs. And for 2020, as in the reporting date, the management is unable to reliable the estimate the financial report because of the COVID-19. In 2020, after the COVID-19 pandemic, the company proposed to undertake the proposal bonus issue up to 68,986,007 for the free warrants in the company on the basis of 7 warrants for every 15 existing ordinary share under KPS Consortium Berhad. The IJM Corporation Berhad, under year 2020, the company disposed almost 233,999,865 ordinary share at 3 ringgit each, representing about 21.4% of the issued and paid up share capital of SCOMI Group Berhad, the total consideration of 7.2 million. Gabungan AQRS Berhad in 2019, the financial report impact of the COVID-19 could be significant to the groups in potential impairment of asset of the group and company, and also the disruption of supply chain due to the restriction imposed on the movement of the people. In 2020, the company proposed to undertake private placement for up to 49,342,852 new shares, representing for 10% of the total issued shares. FGV Holdings Berhad in 2019, because of the pandemic, they include the result of the group and measurement of its asset and liabilities of the group for the next financial year. So for the 2020, the Independent Advice Circular IAC on the unconditional mandatory takeover by the offerer has been dispatched to the shareholders.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Fakri bin Zali. My registered number is 280346. I want to present about the disclosure of MFRS 116 and 136. So the first one is MFRS 116, which is property, plant and equipment. MFRS 116 are intangible assets that are held for use in the production or supply of a good and services for rental to others for administrative purpose and are expected to be used during more than one period. Regarding from our project, all of the company use the cost model to measure the subsequent measurement of their property, plant and equipment. They measure the subsequent measurement of their PPE at the cost less accumulated depreciation and any accumulated impairment loss. And the next one is the depreciation method used by all of the company is straight line method, cost of the asset or PPE divided by the useful life of the PPE. So we go next to the MFRS 136. 136 impairment of asset. MFRS 136 requires that an impairment losses recognized in prior years for an asset other than goodwill should be reversed if there has been a change in estimate used to determine the recoverable. Okay, based on our project, in the year 2018, only one company recorded its impairment losses, which is FGV Holding Berhad. For 2019, two companies, which is Pine Hill Pacific Berhad and also FGV Holding Berhad. For 2020, three company gabungan AQRS Berhad, IJM Corporation Berhad and also FGV Holding Berhad. So some of the impairment losses are recorded occurs after the COVID-19 outbreak and no reversal impairment loss of PPE made by all of the company. So that's all from me. I will pass to the next presenter.
Good day, Doctor. I am Tawachi from Group 3 and I am going to present the key audit matter of the 5 companies. Key audit matter for Pioneer Pacific Berhad are the impairment of property, plant and equipment and land use right in 2018 and 2019. In 2020, the key audit matter of Pioneer are the impairment of property, plant and equipment and right of use assets since they adopt new MFRS, which is MFRS 16 list. Key audit matter for KPS Consortium Berhad in 2018 are the goodwill on consolidation, allowance for expected credit loss and inventory existence and valuation. In 2019, the company key audit matter are the impairment on doubtful receivable and inventory existence and valuation. In 2020, KPS key audit matter are the inventory existence and valuation and also allowance for expected credit loss. Key audit matter for FGV Holding Berhad are the land lease agreement liability assessment, goodwill impairment assessment of non-financial assets with impairment indicators, and the recoverability of deferred tax asset. For 2019 and 2020, the company key audit matter are the land lease agreement liability assessment, goodwill impairment assessment, and the impairment assessment of non-financial assets with impairment indicators. Key audit matter for IJM Corporation Berhad in 2018 are the revenue and cost recognition of the group and the impairment assessment of the group and company interest in joint venture. In 2019, the company key audit matter are the revenue and cost recognition of the group, recoverability of trade receivable, and accounting for pre-grouping costs. In 2020, the key audit matter of IJM are the revenue and cost recognition of the group, recoverability of the carrying amount of inventory, and recoverability of trade receivable. Key audit matter for government AQRS Berhad are the same from 2018 to 2020, which are the revenue recognition for construction, contract and property development, recoverability of trade and other receivable, impairment assessment of the carrying amount of intangible asset, and impairment assessment of the carrying amount of investment in subsidiary at company level.
In the financial statement analysis, we look for the type of applied model in MFRS 116 subsequent measurement. So from the data will show that all the company will apply with the cost model as a subsequent measurement for the 3 years respectively. So a cost model, which is a measurement that consists of the cost less accumulated depreciation less accumulated impairment as one of the measurement of the max the revalue of the carrying amount for the every year. The second, which is the cost of the MFRS 136 impairment loss. So from the data given, will show that in the 2018, the amount of impairment loss were accumulated 215,750,000. Meanwhile, in the 2019, there were declined amount of the impairment loss is only for 160,310,769 ringgit Malaysia. But during the COVID-19, they will become the increase back of the amount, which is 225,629,362 ringgit Malaysia. Third, which is the type of the event for the MFRS 110 subsequent event. So from the data given, will show that all of the company will according similarity type of the subsequent event were considered as the non-adjusting event for the 3 years respectively. So the non-adjusting event, which is the event those that are indicated of the condition that arose after the reporting period, which is the all of the company were made for the disclosure only in the note in financial statement. So the fourth, which is the restatement of the MFRS 108 of the policy changes as the new adoption of the MFRS. So we look from the data we given, we show that in the 2018, most of company will make the restatement, except for the two companies did not make restatement, which is Pine Hill Pacific Berhad and the FGV Holding Berhad. Meanwhile, in 2019, almost all of the company will make the restatement for their policy changes, except for one company, which is IJM Corporation Berhad. But in 2020, during COVID-19, which is there two companies will make the restatement for their policy changes, which is the Pine Hill Pacific Berhad and the IJM Corporation Berhad only. So for the fifth, which is the analysis return of the asset ROA before and during COVID-19. So we look from the data we're given, which is on the before COVID-19, which is all of the company of their ratio of ROA were in the satisfactory level, except there are some of the company of their ratio in ROA were declining, which is Gabungan AQRS Berhad, Pine Hill Pacific Berhad, and the KPS Consortium Berhad. But during COVID-19 in the year 2020, most all of the company of their ratio of ROA were declining more and more. But except in somehow there are some of the company of their ratio of ROA were increased drastically, such as in the Pine Hill Pacific Berhad were increased into 0.578, and for the FGV Holding Berhad were recorded in 0.008. So for the last, which is the analysis return of the equity ROE before and during COVID-19. So from the data we're given will show that most all of the company of the ratio of the ROE will indicate in the satisfactory level, but somehow there are some of the company of their ratio of the ROE which is declined, such as for the Gabungan AQRS Berhad, Pine Hill Pacific Berhad, and the KPS Consortium Berhad. But during COVID-19, which is in year 2020, most all of the company of their ratio of ROE which more decreased until become more, which are the negative one. This is because their lack of the activity were carried out during COVID-19 until it became some difficulty of the company to continue of their business operation. But somehow some of the company which is their ratio become more increased drastically, such as for the Pine Hill Pacific Berhad were recorded, which is 0.585, and for the FGV Holding Berhad, which is the accumulator for the 0.022. So that is all from me about the financial statement analysis. Thank you.
A regression analysis was conducted to examine the relationship between return on asset and depreciation of property, plant, and equipment from 2018 to 2020 for the 5 companies. As a result, the multiple IE correlation coefficient of 0.425 in 2018, 0.0327 in 2019, and 0.2661 in 2020. Therefore, we can conclude that the company return on asset has basically no relationship with the depreciation of property, plant, and equipment.
Lastly, in conclusion, we have summarized this project as our learning task on finding the company's significant application and disclosure of MFRS 108, 110, 116, 136, and also the key audit matter. From the summarization, MFRS 108, majority company disclose the same disclosure regarding the amendments of MFRS. For the MFRS 110, 3 out of 5 companies has subsequent event within the year 2018, 19, and 2020. For the MFRS 116, all of the company using the cost model and straight line method for the subsequent measurement of the property, plant and equipment, and also for their depreciation method. For the MFRS 136, the impairment loss on caused by the COVID-19 outbreak for some companies, and overall non-reversal of impairment of PPE made by any company. And last but not least, for the key audit matter, some key audit matter are frequently recorded such as revenue recognition, recoverability of trade and other receivable, impairment intangible asset, and impairment investment in subsidiaries. So that's all from us for the presentation of our project. Thank you.